I was thinking of asking you about your studies in translation and interpretation, I guess it's called, the ones you did in Barcelona. I would like to know which kind of job opportunities this has opened for you, and yeah, how this has helped you professionally. How which doors, yeah, which doors it has opened.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Funnily enough, I've studied translation with, like, I know a lot of people who studied translation, right? I studied with, and most of them have never worked as translators. But it's true that studying such a field opens up doors for international positions. Maybe a lot of them are working as teachers. I was working as a teacher for a while as well because I also took a master's in teaching Spanish. So basically I think it just opens up for positions in, I don't know, like office jobs basically, that are more like internationally focused. And yeah, so I personally have worked as a teacher and have worked in international positions. And I think for certain positions, you just need to have a degree of some sort. So it's not that relevant what you studied, but that the fact that you studied and that you were able to finish in a way. I've also worked as a team lead in an international position looking for new people, and we're not paying that much attention what you specifically studied. So if you study translation, or even maybe, of course, economics would be better in, like, depending on the field, depending on the position, but it's not as much what you studied, but maybe like your experiences and things like that. And so when I was studying, I thought I would be working as a translator. I was kind of, well, I'm studying translation, so I'm going to be a translator, right? And then after finishing, I realized, well, there are many more options really nowadays. So, and I'm glad because I actually didn't like, well, I like translating, but I couldn't see myself translating 8 hours a day. It just feels a little bit lonely and boring to me. Because I like languages, but I'm not that much into being super specific. For me, like, it's more important to communicate, but you need to be really specific with translation. And I think that's why I never even tried to work as a translator. I didn't feel like it was for me. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
No, no, it's very interesting because I know very little about the field because I don't have any friends or colleagues who have studied translation. But I had the feeling I had the feeling that if you studied that degree, you would likely eventually not end up working as translator, but rather probably in an international company or in sort of a position where you need languages in order to mediate between different countries, probably. And you sort of confirm that in a way. It was just curious. And since this is a channel about languages, I guess some people who follow this channel might also be studying this degree. So this information might as well be useful for them. Interesting. And finally, maybe last question. Okay, could you tell us an anecdote of a time where certain being able to speak a certain language brought you, I don't know, a lot of joy, or there was a moment where you just were able to speak a language, and thanks to that, it opened so many doors. Um, like I don't know, so some cultural anecdote where you said, "Well, I was in this country and was able to speak the language, and that's happened," something like that.
It just lightens up everyone's face when they realize that you can speak their language. It just makes everybody happy in a way. Like, I wouldn't know a specific situation, but especially for languages such as Swedish, like, no one would expect you to speak Swedish. So we have these Swedish partners at my company, and when they came, I was talking to them a little bit in Swedish, and one of them was like, not even my, I don't know what he said, my mother-in-law or whoever speaks as good Swedish as you. And at that moment, I didn't know much really. So it makes people happy because it shows them that you're interested in them in a genuine way. Because just saying, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here," is not the same as saying something in their language. It's just really showing. It's more than words. So in a way, it's just showing appreciation. And also it opens up doors for me as well. Like, I met someone now that I came to Switzerland. I was chatting with someone who's following my podcast, and we were able to meet for a coffee. And that was amazing. Like, it wasn't directly, well, it was in a way directly connected to my channel. And she speaks Swiss German and Catalan and other languages, and I speak as well Catalan, of course, and I'm trying to learn Swiss German. So it's establishes this connection straight away because you have this common interest. So I think it's like a bridge, to other people. So that's the beauty of it, I think.
I completely agree. When you're able to speak a language no one expects you to speak, people get so surprised. This has happened to me mostly with Russian because no one expects you to speak Russian. I mean, no, not many people learn a language, right? And if you're just a Spanish speaking guy and you just start speaking Russian to someone who just came started at your company, they'll be like they go crazy. And that's why you have so many YouTubers as well who take advantage. They just record videos of people being surprised by the fact that you speak their language, because it's actually a genuine feeling of just being like, oh, this is so cool that you are able to speak my language. And as you said, it's like an irrefutable proof that you are interested in that person and in that person's background and that person's history and so on.